YouTube viewers, and since I'd like to bring you my 122 podcast brought to you by School U Productions. I'm going to speak very loudly, very clearly, and very slowly in case you don't understand me. Now, let's get into this podcast. State of Venus origin. Now, now, this topic was requested by a fan who happened to her hand happy to be called by said a V girl, said a V girl. So anyway, said a V girl who had sent me an email a week ago that stated like talk about that stated that she watched one of my podcasts my podcast about I was talking about said to be not having the backstory in the original Sailor Moon cartoon. She stated that yes, Sailor V did have an origin story in the series. So she said her request was there is a origin episode of Sailor V. So she said her request is to me to look into it. So anyway, so this is a request by a fan. So I did. So recently I had recently bought the first season of Sailor Moon on DVD, and I also managed to get a copy of the live action series of Sailor Moon Pretty Guardian for a Japanese friend, and also a copy of the original manga book. So anyway, when I discovered during my finds is not every episode of season one of Sailor Moon was dubbed. Turns out certain episodes were not dubbed. It was dubbed during Sailor Moon's reign, right on Channel 11 or on Cartoon Network's Toonami. So a lot of episodes were not dubbed. So basically, after watching at least over at least five out of six this Sailor Moon, I found the episode of Sailor Venus' origin story, and also I found the origin story of her in the live action series, and also in the old comic book. Now, according to the book in the two series, in the two episodes, it's entitled. Basically, they both entitled Sailor Venus' Secret Pass. So anyway, let's do that. So I'm going to tell you the two origin stories of Sailor Venus. Now, Sailor Venus turns. According to the episode in the book, Sailor Venus was another girl. What unusual? Basically, before she met on the top, she was able to use her. She was able to use her scout powers without transforming. Also able to jump off buildings how the scouts are able to jump off buildings and land safety in their sailor suits. So basically, she had that ability, even though she didn't have her scout powers to really activate her power fully. So basically, basically, it goes like this. One day, basically, her power was activated one day when she saw a bad guy. Just trying to rob the store, and she tried to stop him, but all of a sudden her powers. Her marker broke it, on her forehead, and she uses her bead and her quick sheet to stop the bad guy. So she quickly learned that she figured she must be destined to be a superhero until one day she bumped into a Negaverse monster. Now this theories about this from the live action series and all, but it turned out there were some Negaverse monsters that Queen Bell that discarded these monsters were not worthy, or some monsters that she set undercover in different parts of the world and had them secretly drain energy to humans. So basically, Venus did because of one of these monsters in Tokyo did allow. This is for Luna. Hope that was Chiweedle, aka Sailor Moon. It took down one of these monsters. So she figured, basically, she had some weird way of detecting these monsters. So basically, she figured, there must be more monsters like this somewhere in the part of the world. So basically, she went on a war tour. Now, according to Venus's backstory, is her parents are so basically, she's still like an independent minor, like say Jupiter. Her parents being dead and all. She lives by herself. Anyway, so she goes around a certain country and takes down the Negaverse secret monster agents until she landed in London. While she was in London, she took down a monster and got some help by a local London police officer woman. Basically, the two hit offs as well, and that's it. They started to work together while she was stationed in London. Also, while she was in London, she fell in love with an older guy also in London. Now one day, her and her lady cop friend was checking out some bad guys at this warehouse. Now, while Centipede went into the warehouse to force the bad guy out. She forced the bad guy out. Her cop lady friend stayed in front of the warehouse. Because it's the only way out of that warehouse. Anyway, when Centipede got into the warehouse, the bad guy used a grenade and blew up the warehouse with Venus in it. Now, her cop lady friend thought that Venus was dead, but somehow she managed to get out before the warehouse caught on fire. Now her cop lady friend called Centipede his boyfriend, but turns out that Centipede boyfriend had feelings towards her cop lady friend, and she had feelings towards him as well. So anyway, so from the sheriff, she saw how happy they were, how loving they were. So and basically she figured it's best for her not telling that they're still alive. But in the origin episode of Say the Venus, the cult lady came to Japan and told, I figure you must be alive, and basically she was turned into a monster by Nephanite, and basically come back to a human by sitting in her moon sector. Anyway, that's the whole Shayla business in a nutshell. When she came, basically when she came back to Tokyo, that's when she helped them out. During this time, all the scouts were together during this time. This is before this is when she came back to Tokyo. Like all the scouts, like Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, and Sailor Moon were all together at this time when she came back to Tokyo, and that's when she hooked up with Artemis, who found her and gave her transformation pen and fully unlock her powers. And basically, that's Shayla Venus' whole story and origin story in a nutshell. Basically, I like to say, to say the B girl, the B girl, I don't have no. I may not like Jupiter, but I don't have no hard feelings of Jupiter. I don't like her to be this, but I don't hate her, but it's just hard to say the business because out of all the scholars always assume that she never really had a backstory like the other scouts, but after watching the origin episode of Say the Venus, I gotta say, her origin episode is almost sadder than Shadow Jupiter's backstory, but I gotta say, I do have a new respect for Shadow Venus. So the big girl, I like to thank you for requesting me to do this podcast. I like to say thank you to you. I like to give a special thanks to my pen pals for sending me the live action Sailor Moon series and the old manga series. And also I like to get my local DVD supplier anime for helping me purchase the whole season of Sailor Moon, the first whole season of Sailor Moon. So basically, thank you guys all. Now, like always, the new motto of Screw You Production is, if you like this podcast, please leave a comment below the comment of this podcast. If you don't like this podcast, well, I can't blame you. There's a 6-7 might go. Sign off. 1,